Hey there, it's Ariel Ramsey, and today we're going to be going over how to pre-certify for the Colorado Enterprise Zone Tax Credit Program. In our last video, we actually covered the program from a kind of an overview standpoint, but today we're going to actually roll up our sleeves and get into the application. I'm going to share my screen and walk you through how step-by-step how to pre-certify so that you can be on your way to claiming these awesome tax credits. So let's jump on in. Alrighty, so to begin, we're actually going to start at Google, and I recommend you do this because there's a lot of third-party websites out there that charge to fill out government forms, and while they're not bad and they can actually be really useful, we are today just going to be actually going straight to the source and doing the application directly on the Office of Economic Development and International Trade's website. So when you actually Google Colorado Enterprise Zone, that's the first search result that shows up. And again, you can just confirm that you're actually on a government website because it has this .gov suffix here. So let's go ahead and click that. And you can see here we are on the Office of Economic Development and International Trade's website. And this is where you can actually get all of the details, all of the information about the actual Enterprise Zone credit program. All of the credits are here. And I actually do encourage you to expand out this portion where it says how to qualify and claim this credit. And here there's actually a PDF guide that has all of the pre-certification tips and tools here. It's really awesome. Just in case you just need a little extra backup or are having any trouble, this guide is 14 pages and it can walk you through all of the steps that we're going to go through today via video. So the first thing we need to do is start at the application portal. And when we're here, you're going to actually need to sign up as a new user if you've never used this website before. When you do sign up as a new user, it does take up to 48 hours for you to get access to the system. So just be patient. If you're trying to fill out the application in one day, you got to be realistic. They actually do go in and approve each of these new user credentials. So you just have to wait those 48 hours. I do still recommend that you watch the video all the way together so that you can see how simple this process is. And then once your 48-hour window has elapsed, you can jump right in and do this yourself. Okay, perfect. So once we're in here, you can actually see there is a wealth of information on this website, a lot of different programs for business owners. And I do recommend that you dig in here and educate yourself. We'll go over some of these other programs, but today we're actually going to be focusing here on Enterprise Zone business tax credits. So you'll need to go ahead and start by clicking here. And again, they do have these links for pre-certification. I did click them and I realized that these ones actually don't lead to anything. So again, if you're really wanting to have that PDF guide, you'll need to get it from the actual page on the Office of Economic Development and International Trade's website. So let's go ahead and here and start with the pre-certification. And I've already actually done this just so that I was prepared to film this video, walk through all the steps, but today we're going to start over as if we're brand new. So let's just go ahead and jump into the Apply Now button. So after we press that blue Apply Now button, we're led into the actual application. And the very first thing, the very first piece of information that they're requesting from us is our tax year start date. So for most businesses, the tax year begins January 1 and it ends December 31. If your business has a fiscal year, then you would use that. But for most businesses, we just use the calendar year. And then here you'll put in your actual business name. And we'll put in the EIN number. And then it wants to know the name of the actual business owner and not the tax preparer who's doing the application. And it wants to have the business phone number. So this is all really easy information. The only reason why it might be challenging is if you don't have these things set up. But if you need a business phone number, there's all these third-party websites. Of course, you can use your cell phone number if you don't have one. Same with the business email. But I recommend setting up actual business email and business phone numbers as we fill out these government forms so that you really do have an identity for your business and you have an identity for your personal. So there, after we filled out the phone number, the email, it wants to know what enterprise zone we're in. Again, that interactive map will help you determine which enterprise zone that you're in. I know that my business is in the Denver enterprise zone. And then it wants to know if my business is conducted at a actual street address, or if there's no address, then I can enter coordinates for latitude and longitude. Since my business does actually have a physical location, we're going to go ahead and put address. And this is one that I ran into before. We do want to make sure that we don't put our EIN number with that dash in there. So if you do run into that, just delete the dash and you should be able to move forward. This is where it wants to get the actual address location. You do want to make sure you put your unit number if you do have one. And your county, if you don't know this, you can always just Google your county. But they do want to know what specific county you're in as well. And sometimes the different counties, different cities can have this. You could be in the same city and be in a different county. So I do recommend looking that up if you're not 100% sure. Then it wants to get into our NAISC code. So if you're actually not sure what your NAISC code is, the census.gov website to determine what it is. This one for me, you can actually do a keyword search. So I'm going to just put in a county. There's several different ones, but we know that most of them start with a 5-4, and that's actually what the application is asking us for, is for our sector. So 5-4 is going to be our sector, and then we can actually narrow it down once we see the sector, and this is us right here, tax preparation services. And then here we're just doing an attestation statement, and basically you're just agreeing to all that. So I'm going to agree, because if I don't agree, then I cannot continue. And then it wants to know that my title, I just recommend writing owner there. And then I am also the tax preparer as well. If you did not have a tax preparer, then you can just delete this information here. If it requires you to keep it, then you can keep it as well. But I'm just going to continue to proceed forward. And once I've done all of that, it just gives me a summary of my application. Once I press summary or view summary, it actually gives me the record. Okay. So the thing about that summary is that if there was something incorrect there on that summary page, the only thing that you can do is proceed, press view summary, and then delete this record. Because if you submit the pre-certification with the errors, the chances of you being rejected or your application being submitted wrong can actually hinder this process for you. So I do recommend, if you made a mistake, just delete it and then start all over. Here also, you do have the option to add another business location. So if you have multiple locations that are all in enterprise zones, add another location and pre-certify that one as well, because each application only pre-certifies one location. So once you're all done, you'll press submit here. And I'm not going to press that because I've actually already done my application, and I don't want to have multiple drafts, but I will show you, you do receive an email after you've pressed that submit button. So after you've submitted the application, you will get this email that says that your application was created and is pending review. It does have to go through the review process, and it does take them about 5 days. If your application is accepted, then you can move on to the next part, which we'll be covering in our next video, and that's the certification. But if it's denied, you want to understand why it was denied, and you can always reach out to the Office of Economic Development and International Trade directly. You can reach out to me if you need assistance as well, reviewing any errors that may have occurred in your application. So there are a couple of important things I do want to touch on regarding the pre-certification process. The first one is timing. So you can do this pre-certification up to 3 months before the tax year begins, or you can do it anytime during the tax year, but you cannot do it after the tax year has passed. So you do want to get on this as soon as possible. I know that tax season has already passed. A lot of us are thinking, whew, taxes are out of the way. But if you're thinking about next year's taxes and you want to save money, it's time to go ahead and get your pre-certification done. The other thing that I want to mention regarding this process is that you have to pre-certify every year. So you saw how easy it was. It's not a daunting task. You just don't want to forget to do it in the years that you want to claim the tax credit, because you do have to do it every year, as well as the certification, and it does have to be approved. So we've put our application in. Our next process then is to wait for our approval decision, and then we'll jump in how to certify so that you can begin claiming these credits and actually pick the program that's best for your business. If you have any questions, or if you're interested in me doing the application for you, then please reach out to me. My email is info@EZTAXDenver.com, or I can be reached by phone or text at 303-305-4363. Thanks, guys, and I look forward to seeing you next time.